Sadie, and today we're interviewing Sister Pooley, who served in the Bulgaria Sofia mission. Now,
Yeah.
Sister Pooley, you served in Bulgaria, so you learned Bulgarian. Oof, I can't even say it. Bulgarian, right?
Bulgarian,
Yeah.
yes.
Are there any funny language mistakes that you made early on?
Oh my goodness. I think, oh, probably. I think non-verbally,
Yeah.
they say like, this is yes, and this is no. So non-verbally, I made
No.
those mistakes. I
Oh
had to adjust to
no.
that. But I'm trying to
Alright.
think if I had any language mistakes. I had so many. I had so many that I might not have even known what they were, you know?
Yeah. Was it like a really hard language to learn? Because I know like most languages are, but was that like extra hard?
I think it definitely was. Like, it was harder than like French that I took in high school.
Oh.
But in college, I took a Japanese class. And after I took that class, nothing else seemed hard comparatively. So it definitely was challenging. I'd put it at like a 7
Mm-hmm.
for an English speaker to learn. But
Okay.
it was difficult. So there's different time periods that you're in the MTC, like amount of weeks that you're in the MTC. And it was a 9-week. So if that tells you anything, like Russian, Japanese, those are 12-week languages. So it's a 9-week language, if that tells you anything.
It's
Yeah.
one of the sophisticated
Yes,
ones.
just spend a third of my mission there. So yeah. Or a fourth? A fourth. I don't know.
A fourth.
18 months. A sixth? I can't do math. Okay. So
Okay. Well, did you ever like develop an accent when you came home from speaking Bulgarian so much?
I didn't have an accent, but it was definitely hard to come home and say certain phrases,
Uh-huh.
like certain mission, like scriptures, or like, just different like church phrases that you'd say. It was really hard to adjust back into that. Like, it'd be hard not to use that Bulgarian word,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, because you use it so often.
Yes.
What were some like unique or surprising facts that you learned in Bulgaria that you still remember about
Oh,
Bulgaria?
okay. Like I already said, kind of the
Yeah.
yes and no thing. Like,
Oh, goodness me.
it was like people would be like this, but they'd be smiling. So I'd be like, what? And then they'd be like, like, and I'm like, but they have like a scowl as they're saying yes. I'm like, I'm so confused. When I got home off my mission, like, people would ask me yes or no questions, or I'd ask people yes or no questions. My mistake. And I would be like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, I don't know what you're answering. Say a verbal yes or no.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, another interesting fact, like Bulgaria has, like, they produce a lot of rose oil. So like,
Mhm.
like a lot of people would give me like rose oil. It was really, really nice. And something that I also like about Bulgaria is that they're just like kind people. Like, they have a tough exterior, but like a gooey center is what we say. Like, they're very giving, like, and they're very good to their guests in their country. They'd be like, no, I don't want to hear anything, but let me give you a treat before you go. I don't want you to have a bad impression of my country.
Oh.
They're very polite, like, that way, but they'll be like, no, I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Take a treat before you go. So I appreciated that about them.
Yeah. Did you get any baptisms while you're out there?
Okay, well, no. We got one, but unfortunately he didn't make it to the confirmation. Poor thing. But yeah, no, we call it a hunting mission, not a fishing mission. So like, my husband, who served in Peru, was like, oh, my second baptism that week. I'm like, oh, what was that like? What was that like? Yeah, so no, it was a chasing people down and just let me teach you, please.
Yeah.
So.
What was like the hardest part of your mission? Was it finding people, or was it something else?
Ooh, I think that was probably it. Like, a lot of rejection. It was a lot of rejection. And everyone has their things that are difficult for them personally, but I'd say overall, to the general missionary, like the fact that you don't feel like you have success, because a lot of times we measure it in those numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like, in the like, I don't have baptism, I don't have this, I don't, like, you don't, the numbers don't reflect your experience. So it's hard to feel like a failure so much, but I learned a lot of lessons from failing a lot.
Yeah. What influenced your decision to go on a mission?
I always had a strong testimony growing up. Like I always was churchy, that kind of a thing. Like I
Yeah.
loved seminary, all of that, and I actually went later. So you can go. So when I was growing up, you went at 21, right? So when
Yeah.
like if I could have gone at 19, I would have been gone. Like I would have gone like that day I turned 19. But then I just, when I turned 21, I was like, I don't know. It took me a little bit. So I finally, put in my mission papers at 22, and then it took them 6 months, or it took them 2 months to get my call to me. I think it's because President Hinckley passed away, and so then President Monson was the new prophet. And so like that whole changing of the guard kind of shifted things a little. So it took a few months to get the mission call, and then it was like, you're called in 6 months from now. So I was like, oh man. So I was 23 when I went on my mission. Yeah, which is
Wow.
old,
Well,
so
yeah.
yeah. But so what helped me influence my decision to go on a mission? I went on this church history tour thing with the young adults, like the summer before, and I just really felt the spirit strong, and I just wanted to share it, and so that kind of was the turning point for me wanting to go. Like it really, like just going to those special sites and thinking about the gospel at its fundamental level, and just that really was the turning point for me, like wanting to go.
So you got like an inspiration at the moment to go, or is it kind of like an always I want to go on a mission sort of
I
thing?
was always, I wanted to go on a mission, and then I just had a few years where I was like, meh, I don't know.
Yeah.
When I came of age, I wasn't feeling it, but I always did want to go. Yeah, it wasn't one of those things where I felt like Heavenly Father had to push me out of the door. It was one of those things where it's like I was an easy sell. I felt like I wanted to go, but yeah, like I think when I turned 21, like I said, I just wasn't feeling it at the time, and then finally, when I got a little bit older and I went on that trip, it kind of reignited my feeling to go. I even bought a T-shirt. There was a T-shirt at the church history site, and it was referencing Abinadi when he says, "Touch me not, for I'm filled with the Holy Spirit of God, and you'll wither and die," or something like that. Something Nephi said, "Wither and die," but something like that. When Abinadi's talking, and the shirt is like, "Touch me not, for I have not yet gone on my mission." So I bought that T-shirt. So I got the desire to go, and I bought the T-shirt. I don't have it. No.
Darn it.
I know. I'm like, that's a cool T-shirt, but I guess it doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah. It took like how many months again to get your mission call? Like when you submitted your papers?
I put in my papers. I'm going to be wrong about the dates because I'm just like, this is based on old people memory.
Okay.
So
no, it's
I put in my papers like February-ish, I want to say, and I think the prophet passed away in January. I can't remember. But I didn't get my call until like it was February, and I didn't get it till like April or something like that. So it was like 2 months. And then when I got my call, it was like not until October. I was like, what? It's April. I put in my papers. Like it took a while to like get going. Yeah.
You said you like learned French and Japanese. So did you expect to like be sent somewhere like that? How did you feel when you got the call for Bulgaria?
I was like, what? So yes, I put in like that I wanted to learn a foreign language, or and I did think maybe French speaking. We have Bulgaria. It's like the only thing I knew about Bulgaria was Durmstrang from Harry Potter and Victor Crumb. And they're not real. So that's all I knew about Bulgaria, So because of that, I knew on a map where it was. But other than that, I wouldn't have known. Like a lot of people were like, is that in South America? Like they think Bolivia. I was like, no. No, it's in Eastern Europe.
I don't even know where it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It borders Greece a little bit, Turkey on the southern border, Romania on the north border, I think Macedonia. Nobody knows where Macedonia is. Macedonians do, and Eastern Europeans do. But us Americans, we don't know per se. And it borders the Black Sea. So they do have some like beach. Yeah. So that you probably still don't know where that is.
Well, no,
Greece, and it's
a little bit of
a little bit of Turkey. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you like vacation to Greece and Italy on your P-Day one day? Or?
No, I didn't.
I forgot how boundaries work.
No, but my mission, oh my gosh, president, please edit that out. My mission president really wanted us to experience the country we were in.
Mm-hmm.
And so he encouraged P days because some missions like they don't necessarily go and explore, and that's okay. Like
Yeah.
they're more focused in that way. But he's like, you really need to experience the country you're in. Like go out into nature, go out, enjoy the country that you're in. And so we would go to like just different places. We'd go like hiking. We'd go to like different monasteries. There was this
Mm-hmm.
hidden monastery that like I can't remember. See, this is terrible, and we can look this up on Google, but it was either hidden from the Turks when the Ottoman Empire took over them, or it was hidden from the Soviet Union, but they were still able to practice their religion, like, but it was hidden. And so that was really cool. We went to that. So yeah, it was interesting to go travel around, and the nature there is beautiful. I mean, my goodness, like the mountains are beautiful, like the forests are beautiful. Like wow. Bulgaria is gorgeous. Like it's a hidden gem,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that's like vastly different from. Did you come home in Arizona, or where'd you come home to
Oh,
after your
okay.
mission?
So I grew up in Tennessee, and
Mm-hmm.
so I left. I was at BYU, and I was at BYU for a little while when I left for my mission. But I left from Tennessee and went back to Tennessee for the summer when I got home from my mission.
How
Yeah.
was that transition, like going from like this foreign land to back home?
It was weird. I've explained this to people before.
Mm-hmm.
I was used to the ambiance. There's a different rhythm and sound to Bulgarian around you. And so I got used to like just hearing the rhythm and sound of Bulgarian around me, for
Mm-hmm.
so long. And I would have to like dial in to understand conversations. Not that you should be eavesdropping, but I would dial in to understand what was going on. And the weirdest thing was when I came back into the States, like just the sound and the rhythm of the language and just being able to understand everything around me, like this. It was weird. It was strange. And also, it was great to see women in sweatpants and hoodies and tennis shoes. It was great because they're so like glam in Bulgaria, the girls. Like
Mm-hmm.
it'll be like negative whatever, and they're got their like high boots and their mini skirts, and I'm like, how? So that was part of the culture shock too. It was like, oh yay, we can be in relaxed clothes again. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel like underdressed when you came, or did you bring like, I don't know how
Oh,
to
when I
ask
went on
that.
the
Like,
mission,
yeah.
I think I had this idea that not that I had to be frumpy, but I was like following this sister missionary look that you didn't necessarily have to have, but it's just what
Mm-hmm.
people had worn. So
Yeah.
I feel like I came in with like frumpy clothes that I wouldn't have worn at home anyway. Right? Not that it was like, there's the standards of, like how long and whatever, but I
Mm-hmm.
still could have had like nicer looking clothes. But after a while, I definitely dressed better towards the end of my mission, but it still wasn't as fancy as the Bulgarians.
Yeah. Were you prepared for the cold there? Because, like you said, it was negative something.
It was cold. My first area. Okay. My first area. Okay, so here's a story. My first area, we didn't have heat in our apartment, and we should have just made a phone call and got the heat fixed. And we didn't have heat in our shower.
Oh no.
And so then we were out on the cold streets. And the only place that we could get warm was the church. So we'd be tracting out in the cold. We'd come home to a cold shower. We'd come home to a cold apartment, and we were cold for like 2 weeks straight. But that's on us for not calling the people and getting that sorted out. Our zone leaders came in like, what are you doing? You need to get this water heater fixed. So it was just freezing. And little anecdote, before my mission, in a prayer to Heavenly Father, because I speak very straightforward to him, I was like, Heavenly Father, I'll go where you want me to go, but please don't send me somewhere cold. And I got sent to like the coldest city for my opening
Oh
like
no.
area in my mission. And I had 2 winters there and 1 summer. But Bulgaria isn't as cold as like more northern countries. So relatively, it's more like, an Idaho winter but not like Alaska or something.
Yeah.
So I guess I can say that at least it was a 4-season mission area.
Any like habits you built on the mission stick with you?
Yes, yes.
Like,
My mission president, he was Austrian, so that's why I don't know if I'm going to butcher his accent or not, but he was like, you need to be responsible for Zion. First in, last out. I shouldn't do his accent. President Roltz. But yeah, he talked about how you are the church, you are Zion, be responsible for Zion. And I feel like that's a big part of what our temple covenants are, is being responsible for it, seeing it as your responsibility to take care of the church, to be the church. You know, again, I feel like don't run faster than you can walk. Like, obviously, don't overcommit yourself. Like, you need to take care of your mental health and know your limits, right? But just like the attitude of what you can give, you know, and that, anyway. So I feel like that mindset really helped me, you know, to be responsible for Zion. And then my other mission president, he referenced, oh my goodness, I can't remember. It was a general authority who talked about having your own sacred grove, like, and how you need to find a place that you've kind of set aside to kind of be your sacred grove where you can receive revelation, and being intentional about taking time to receive revelation. And I feel like that stuck with me. I haven't always been fantastic about that, but those two things are the things that I really feel like I took with me, you know, from my like habits from the mission. Yeah.
Before we go, I'm kind of curious. Did you have any like super spiritual experiences or like moments that gave you the chills on your mission? Because those are always like super cool. Can you remember any?
Yes. And you know, compared to like all these amazing stories from other missions, you know, where there's, you know, I can't compare it to that, right?
No. Well, yes, probably.
I mean, I don't know. For me, like there's two that stand out to me, and if you see them on paper, it's maybe not as big of a deal, but the feeling that I had. So we were just tracting at a door, and I just testified. I just testified that, you know, what we're teaching is true. And the person, you know, they were done, but like when I testified of the truth, I can't even explain. Their eyes softened, and I saw a light and an understanding in their eyes, and I could tell that they knew it was true in that moment. Like, it was like obvious. It was amazing. And I could sense it, like they were disarmed. And like, I don't know, this is cheesy, but it's like, I felt like their spirit knew that what I was saying was true. And they didn't necessarily accept it, but that was such a beautiful moment. And then another time on my mission there was this Roma individual, which we know as gypsies, but that's probably not the right way to call them. So, you know, very poor, don't have the best reputation in that country and everything like that. But when I was talking to him about the Book of Mormon, he got so excited. Like, he's like, I need to read that. Like, I need to read that. So we said, you can have this. And he's like, oh, I can have this for free. So he took it over the weekend, and he just like read it. He didn't read the whole thing, but he read a lot in it. And he came to church that Sunday. Oh my gosh, I need to not cry, but came to church that Sunday, and he got up, and it was a fast and testimony Sunday. And he got up and he said, this book is true. He just was like this pure testimony. He's like, I've read it. I know it. Like I know that what is in here is from God. And it was just like, oh, I got the chills. It was amazing. Anyway, so those are two moments that were beautiful. And I have one more. And it was, we were, you know, out, and we were in a park, you know, just trying to talk to people. And my companion, like, someone came up and just was like, they just saw the name Jesus Christ on the tag. And I can't even tell you, just like their demeanor changed, and they got hateful. And they yelled, and they like reached out to like try to get aggressive with my companion. And, you know, I just like the hate, just seeing his name. And I was just like, wow, why would his name inspire such hate? He's just like the best human and individual who's ever lived. Like, and I just, in that moment, felt a kinship to him. Like I was with him in the trenches, if that makes sense. Like blessed are ye who like bear my stripes. I'm misquoting the scriptures, but that sentiment of like you who bear my burdens, like being hated for his name's sake. He talks about that. You were hated and persecuted for my name's sake. And in that moment, I should have been like scared or like sad, but I was grateful. It's weird, but I was grateful, and I felt close to him like a friend. You know, it was such a strange moment in my mission to feel happy. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I guess I just felt like close to him in that way. So those are 3 big experiences that stand out to me, like big to me experiences.
So your mission like definitely strengthened your testimony.
Oh yeah, definitely did. Yeah, I mean, and it can't like sustain you the rest of your life. You have to do the work, right? Mm-hmm. You have to keep going, right? You have to feed your soul. But yes, it strengthened me, and I feel like one of the things that it prepared me for was church leadership. In Bulgaria, you are the church. For some reason, they didn't send sister missionaries often to the smaller cities, but I always was. And out there's not a relief society. I was the relief society. I was the primary, you know, and there was like, 10 members and 2 of them came. Like we gave the talks. We were the church leadership. And I feel like, and I don't know why, but I've had a lot of church leadership in my life. And I feel like that's a huge part of what my mission did for me, was prepare me for church leadership.
Yeah. Wow. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Okay, me too.
So glad I was able to hear so much about Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And your mission experiences.